Hello YouTube, this is Southern Wolverine back with some more 2 versus 2 Rome Total War action. Here is my Seleucid general on his Indian War Elephant. Also in my backfield is this unit of Scythe Chariots. I have in my cavalry detachment 2 Ajima Cavalry, 2 Median Cavalry. My main force is 2 units of shield bearers, 1 on each flank, 3 thorax swordsmen, and 4 thorax pikemen. My front line consists of 4 units of eastern slingers and a single unit of garden variety slingers. On my right flank, Patrick's force, he's got some skirmishers as well, 4 units of helot slingers. His main, his front line anyway, is I believe 7 units, 8 units, something like that, of Spartan pikes. And he has Royal Spartans backing them up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units of them. So no cavalry from the Spartans, which maybe not that great a loss. The Spartan cav's not all that much to get excited about. Can't see enough of our opponent's armies at the moment to really go through, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it in regular speed. And we can watch the battle unfold and see what they have as they show up. See, now we're fighting uphill, Patrick and I, so over the crest here, there's just enough of an angle like this that we aren't able to see most of their forces. We do see 4 units of these Parthian horse archers. I believe there's even a couple more units of these guys behind the camera at the moment over here. Yeah, here they come out of the hide. And they're fighting all these slingers, which is kind of a mistake. The slingers have more numbers and will eventually wear those guys out. We also see some units of Parthian swordsmen up in this area. We haven't seen anything of Rome yet, which at this point had me a little bit worried. I was afraid he's going to come over the crest of this hill, slam a bunch of sword units into my flank, and I'm screwed. Partha realized that he was in trouble, or possibly his ally was yelling at him, one or the other. So he pulled his troops back out of our skirmishers' range, where they were clearly losing this fight. See, we did get a number of their horse archers in this area, just by focusing numbers on them. See, now we finally get a look at Rome's force, and it's, you know, the expected mix of Evocati, and he's got some Balearic slingers up front. I believe there's 2 units of Velites in here. Yeah, there they are. His Legatus, he has also in his backfield some Praetorian Guards, the Socia Equites Extraordinari, and an auxiliary African Elephant unit. He's also got a couple cav units over here, moving out to the flank. No doubt they've spotted my cavalry and he's moving out to counter. All these Parthian cav are moving out also, a bunch of noble bloods, and a couple units of royal cataphracts. But the main Parthian line consists of these Parthian swordsmen. And I don't believe he has any foot skirmishers. They're all those, Okay, well these guys are horse units, but they dismounted, which I really don't understand, but okay. He also has 2 mercenary hoplites protecting the flank of his sword line. So I'm perfectly okay if these guys stand out in the center, because I'll just missile them to death, basically. You see a good volley there off on those guys, got some focus fire, and they're under half strength. So by sheer volume, these horse archers are very dangerous, used properly. But if they try to go toe-to-toe with our skirmishers, we simply have more volume of fire, and they won't be able to hold up against that, because their armor is not very good. See, these guys only have armor 10, and health 60 is not bad, but it's still going to wear down pretty quick. Now these Parthian swordsmen, I'm surprised when I check the stats, are actually a halfway decent unit. He's got 1 chevron on, which boosts their attack a little bit, so 38 attack, 61 defense, 65 armor. Not half bad, especially when you consider their cost. They're a pretty cost-efficient sword unit, and he's got a lot of them. He's got, looks like, 6 of them. So that's something I have to worry about, since I only have 3 units, and my thorax swords are, you know, solid swords, dependable maybe, but they're a little bit more defensive oriented than a lot of sword units, so I'm gonna have to use them appropriately. And I want to try to catch as many of these swords on my pikes as I can. I'm not entirely sure what I was trying to do here with this cav. I was kind of trying to get a look, threaten his swords maybe. If those archers came out, I was going to get another shot at him. But he's got, especially with these Roman cav over here, he's got a significant cav advantage on me in this flank. So I'm not going to be able to stay there for long. These Parthian archers are coming back for more. And over here, my chariots, I totally missed this. My chariots are running an interception attack. See, they knocked a whole bunch of these guys down here. I was trying to help Sparta out here by knocking as many of these guys out as I could. His general and another cav unit came in. These guys did quite a bit of damage. They did 260 kills in just a matter of moments. There are no spears here. In short, the moral of the story here is if you roam, at least take some spears, because otherwise units like chariots are just going to be able to run amok on you. Look at this. Evocati cohort is down to a quarter strength. These guys lost a third of their strength. You know, these guys lost 30 men. These guys lost 15. They even got half of these slingers. Well, that's probably some of that's due to missile fire. But still, I mean, that was a chariot unit that did quite a bit of disruption. Did a lot of damage. That was worth the money to me. And now Rome's got to be wondering just how confident he feels after suffering a loss like that early in the battle. So right now you see my whole army's moving over. I'm just trying to close the gap here and form one strong pike line. So Parth is sort of taking this opportunity to move in on me while I'm still repositioning. So you saw this attack order. All my slingers are going to start focusing on these guys, try to wear down these swords that are coming in. I'm a little worried if all these swords move to my flank, they're going to overwhelm these 2 units of shield bearers over here. I'd really like to use these shield bearers against cavalry if I can. But lucky for me, these Parthian swordsmen are going to come right on into my thorax pikes, who have taken some damage from missile fire, but not so much that they can't hold these guys back. See, Patrick's got a little bit of a sortie going on here. These pikes moving out. Well, this isn't going to end terribly well for these pikes. Fortunately, he's got some spare units back here. He's still got plenty of pikes on his line, so this isn't going to hurt too badly, even though these units are going to be lost out here. And there's Royal Spartans in there as well. But in any case, my elephants have now moved through the gap in the center of this line. They're going to try to break these infantry. My skirmishers are trying to take out his horse archers here. And of course, now there's 7 units of cavalry over here on this flank facing off against my 4. He's also got some very capable cavalry in these noble bloods, and especially these royal cataphracts. So at this point, I'm yelling for help from Patrick to send over some of these royal Spartans, and sure enough, here he sends 2 units over here to help me out. So if I can't get spears in this fight, I'm in serious trouble. And now the swords are going to move in to help fight against my thorax swords. Are going to help fight against these Parthian swords. My elephants smashed these guys apart. Basically broke these Parthian swordsmen that were fighting my pikes. 321 kills already. And now they're moving on down to these swordsmen. We cause them to waver en route. And they're going to then just keep moving on. They're going to come down in here and have to join this cav fight. I'm just hurling men right now in here to try to do what I can. These swords are not the perfect weapon for fighting against these Hellenic cataphracts, or royal cataphracts rather. But I'm making use of what I can. They were proximate to the fight. And here come the armored elephants. They're going to come smashing in here and try to make a difference. So this is a huge, huge battle over here with cavalry. And these royal Spartans are coming in at just the right time to help tip this fight. They sort of disappeared into the melee that is all this cavalry, but they are going to be in there and helping me out. They haven't done any damage yet, but with their spears and their excellent attack for hoplites, they should be helping me out quite a bit. So in any case, the line is holding. The cav fight's got me a little worried at the moment, but my pikes are doing great. They're just thrashing these mercenary hoplites. There's really no way they're going to be able to defeat my pikes from the front like this. And I'm just trying to maintain the line here, because Rome's playing it a little cautious at the moment. Not quite sure what he's doing over here. You see, he's just kind of hanging back. Now, if I'm out here and my allies losing, I would be a little bit more aggressive, I think, because I think it's pretty clear that this fight is going my way. The only question mark is this cavalry fight. He has gone and brought his associate Equites Extraordinari into this fight, and they're going to try to help the cavalry fight out. So I guess he's not leaving his ally totally out to dry. So that's just an ongoing cavalry fight over there. My swords were running in and out. The shield bearers, I turned them around, try to get them into this cavalry fight. And I'm going to bring the swords out instead to help fight against these mercenary hoplites. All my pikes are also messing these guys up pretty good. This one pikeman is just out here and is, oh, nice. He goes out all Iron Man and just takes that guy out with his sword. Yeah, so these mercenary hoplites didn't really even make a dent in this thorax pike line. So what Rome did manage to do was pretty much decimate the Helot slinger force that was out in front of the Spartan army. So I brought my slingers over here to reinforce, and I'm actually marching them out on an attack order to try to work these Evocati down as much as I can, as it's become clear that we're winning this cav fight. And basically at this point we've won the cav fight. Some of these units are going to return from routing. This unit has already returned from routing. We got spears fighting their cavalry. We still got our cavalry loose to re-engage. The elephants haven't suffered any losses yet. So I think it's pretty clear that this cavalry fight is going our way with the help of these hoplites from the Spartan army. They did not huge numbers, but I mean a little over 100 kills there against units like Hellenic Cataphracts is pretty darn respectable actually. So now the elephants are coming back for more on these cavalry, and my cavalry are going to come in here to help finish off these Equites and then try to get back into the Parthian cavalry. So basically we're just trying to mop these guys up so we can afford to focus all of our infantry against Rome. And these Equites got really caught up. He was doing a good job running them around for a while. They got caught up in my infantry, and now my elephants are going to come here and do a number on these guys. See, that guy tried to attack my elephant, it just bounced off. So I'm trying to keep the elephants moving, and they're going to try to run down here into this fight. Meanwhile, the hoplites up here are still trying to break through. These guys returned from routing, and they're counterattacking my pike line. They got into me a little bit here. I was maneuvering a little bit at the time or something, so they caught me with my pikes down, but they're still, enough of them are caught on my pike line. They're not really going to be able to hold. Now, this was a mistake. I had an attack order clicked, and I think his skirmishers pulled back on me. So the Roman Equites Extraordinari got a great charge on my Eastern slingers and just thrashed them. So yeah, Petra called my attention to this, and I'm trying to scramble these guys back out of the fight while he sends in some pikes to help bail me out. So these Equites won't be able to pursue me much longer with these pikes in the way. And these guys are going to withdraw to the safety of this pike line. Alright, so now Parth is basically being mopped up out here. These swords finished off the last missile units that were out here. The calves gone. My elephants are still running around there even though they're exhausted. So I'm bringing the cav up, bringing my swords around, and just trying to turn my pike line. And we're trying to press Rome into a corner here. At this point we have a huge numerical advantage. Their cavalry's basically been reduced. He's still got his Legatus, which isn't the unit I'm terribly afraid of, especially as it's only half strength. And he's got this one unit of Equites still, and he also has these African elephants, so they're still a dangerous force. But now we actually have a cavalry advantage, counting my elephants into the mix. So Rome realizes he can't wait. You know, he can't wait for me to come over and flank him. He's going to make a push on. I'm not sure if he did this intentionally, but it actually sort of could work by focusing numbers of melee troops, especially these Praetorian Guards are pretty darn good armor. He's going to try to push into these pikes. He's just bringing numbers down in as hard as he can. And my slingers are trying to take out the Roman skirmishers, because they're posing a fairly significant threat to this pike line, as these Spartan hoplites don't have great armor, so they can take quite a bit of damage from missile fire. You see, I mean, armor 55 is actually pretty decent for a pike unit, but it won't hold up very long against that many units of slingers. Although apparently they're running out of ammunition, because look at these Balearics coming in. It's pretty desperate to send Balearic Slingers into melee combat. So I have to assume they were out of ammo. So, see, Rome's got a couple units just running out here to try to slow me down. The Equites are coming out, and the Elephants are coming out. This is something I do have to keep an eye on, because that could do some damage to my cavalry. But I'm sort of focused on boxing these guys in. These are two very dangerous units of Praetorian Guard. Are just totally stonewalled by this pike wall. They simply cannot come to grips with me. So we've got containment for the moment here. And my slingers had an attack order clicked, and we're still trying to shoot those slingers. So they're going to get a little bit cut up by these Praetorian Guardsmen before I realize what's happening, pull them out. So in an effort to trap these guys and destroy them, I'm using this other unit of pikes to try to flank them in. But now the Legatus is coming in to help. These African elephants have come and smashed into my Ajima cavalry and my median cavalry. And they're doing a pretty good number on them. See, they're 30 kills, but that's enough to break my cavalry force. And that leaves my swords and the one remaining unit of Ajima cavalry in this fight. Try to hold off elephants. And the swordsmen, that's really not what they're good at, fighting cavalry, especially these really heavy elephant units. But meanwhile, I'm doing lots of damage with my elephants too. These guys are crashing down through these Praetorian Guards and scattering them to the winds. I think he was trying to get a flank on my pike line, which is a pretty good move actually. And it might have worked if my elephants hadn't come in at that point. So now the elephants are running out here to try to break up these concentrations attacking the Spartan pike line. See, these Royal Spartans stepped up just to try to hold the line as the pikes were getting sort of overwhelmed by these sword troops. Because there were so many in one spot. And these armored elephants just came in and broke this whole body. The Spartans were holding them, the elephants were just too much for them. So now they're going to turn back, having contributed to this fight, they're going to turn back in the other direction. I've got these Praetorian Guards boxed in. I did lose one of my elephants to them on the way through. So the only place where we're not winning at the moment is right here, where these elephants are still doing a fair bit of damage to my troops. But at this point, the army suffered so many losses that the Roman army is going to mass rout. Well, mass. I say mass, but there's really not that many units left to rout. Really, it's the elephants at almost full strength, still rout. Yeah. Alright, so I needed to take a drink there. I'm feeling a little bit hoarse. So, in any case, of course, the stars of my army was this unit of elephants that kept coming in and breaking up fights just at the right time. The cavalry, the Ajima cav did pretty decent. The median cav mainly just held their position. Yeah, they got pretty well mauled and didn't do all that much damage. I'm not convinced median cav are worth it for the points. I've been using them in place of the Azat Knights because the Azat Knights are so expensive now. But the median cav just don't seem to be able to hold up as well as I would like. Although, to be fair, they were fighting units like elephants, royal cataphracts, and noble blood cavalry. Slingers did pretty good. Look at how much damage some of these slinger units did. They were just trashing the Parthian skirmishers, and then they contributed to messing up some of the Roman skirmishers as well. And the chariot unit, despite not having lasted very long, got almost 260 kills. So, pretty happy with that performance from my army. I did quite a few kills. Patrick didn't feel like he was contributing all that much, with only 600 kills and almost 1,200 losses. But I said, you know what, you're holding that flank. You keep that Roman army off of us while we're taking out Parthia, and it's totally worth it. So you see, the Parthian army didn't actually do a whole lot of damage. The Cav did a good chunk of it. These swords had a few each. These mercenary hoplites basically just died. But the Roman skirmishers, they did some pretty nasty damage. But then the infantry weren't able to do as well as he would no doubt have liked. I think this big fat zero was that Evocati cohort that got slammed by my chariots early in the fight. But in any case, even though we suffered a lot of losses to the Roman, Patrick deployed by far the most men, so he was able to afford the losses, and Rome wasn't, basically. So in any case, good game to Patrick, good game also to our opponents, Sergeant Sandman 228 and Philip. or Felipe, or however the hell we're pronouncing that. And thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I am Southern Wolverine signing off.